welcome to another Random Roulette Tuesday, where today I picked this up at Joann's Fabric yesterday. It was 30% off. Still a little pricey, but I figured I kind of really love this, and it's supposed to glow in the dark, and maybe the weather will cool down soon enough that I can use a throw blanket on the couch. So let me give you a closer look. It's one of these blankets where it has the two-piece of fleece, and you tie the ends together. So it's no-sew. You don't have to worry about a sewing machine. I know these were really big about like 10 years ago, but I'm just getting into them now. I'm just a super big fan of this. Just a super big fan of how this looks, and I'm hoping that the blanket will look very similar, if not exactly like this. So let's get it opened up and see what we've got here. Ooh. Ooh. So the idea of these things is you cut along this pre-printed line area. So the other side doesn't have this printed on it. Yeah, okay, just checking it doesn't. So I think you line these up and then cut into the edges so they're both cut there and then tie them together. I'm very tempted to just cut these and then make them separate blankets separate from each other, because these are both really cute to have as different blankets, and then you get two for the price of one. That really makes the 30% off a lot better on this. But I think I'm going to actually try and follow the instructions and just make it one blanket. I think I'll be really happy with this because that is really cute, and then it'll just be a warmer blanket. Not that we need warm blankets out here. I've noticed the edges do have this weird texture from, I guess, when it was taken off with a loom, and I don't know if I should trim that down first. So going to the directions, I don't see anything in the directions about needing to cut this off, the outer edge, but I feel like maybe that's an obvious since it doesn't have that at all on the cover. Like, it doesn't have a weird white outer frame, it's just the black. So I think I will need to first trim this down, which will make my blanket size a little smaller. I should actually measure it to see if that affects the actual size or not, or if it's already taken into account. All right, let's dive into this and put this together. Super excited! So starting out, I decided I definitely needed to cut off that white border. And then I also cut off the weird edge on the green fabric as well. And then I wanted to show you a weird texture thing with this fabric. So the inside is really soft and plushy, and then the outside is still soft, but a little more scratchy. Not exactly scratchy, just not as soft as the inside is. But with the inside being so soft, I feel like it is going to pill a lot more. I believe that's what it's called, where it just like comes up in little pills, I guess. Whereas the outside, I feel like it'll pill less, so that's the side I'm putting on the outside towards my body. So when it gets washed and whatnot, it'll have less of a chance of pilling up. So next I go ahead and I lay the fabric the way I'm going to put it with the soft sides on the inside, just because of that pilling situation. And then I go ahead and start cutting both of them at the same time on that dotted line that's on the darker side. So after cutting one side, I go to the next side, and the directions say that you do cut this corner out. And I actually end up saving it later so I can try and make something out of it later. Now going to the knots, it doesn't really say how to knot it, just to knot it. So one, I try knotting the two pieces of fabric together as one knot, as if it was one. And then I try another test strand where they take the two pieces as separate pieces and knot those together like you would two separate strings. And I did not like that look as much. So I decided just to go with the first type of knot and just knot the rest of the blanket in this fashion. I did do a separate trial piece like I've seen on other videos where they make a hole and then pull the end through that hole. but I actually really liked the knotting effect, so I just went ahead and stuck with my knotting idea. I also wanted to point out that some of these lines weren't straight. They were like on a slant, and as you can see in this picture, just cut out as a slant. However, on other corners, some of them were perfectly square. Like this one kind of seemed like a perfectly square kind of cut. Well, other than the fabric being wonky. Now, when I did measure the fabric out, the dark colored one measured about 49 3/4 wide, and then the tall part was about 64 1/2. And the green one was about 51 1/4 wide and 65 inches tall. And after I cut the white stripes off of the top and bottom, it ended up being about 62 inches tall. As a finished product from tassel to tassel, it ended up being about 43 1/2 inches wide and 58 inches tall. But I did notice on some sections, I think I just knotted more tightly, so it was a little bunchy and tighter in some sections. So I stretched those apart, and then I was able to get more of a square blanket than a bunched up blanket. So I decided this blanket just needed me to change back into my Halloween Snoopy dress. So now I have my cute Peanuts outfit and my cute Halloween Peanuts Snoopy blanket. Whoa, I got this upside down. Woo! So this whole project, about start to finish, takes about 2 hours if you can just work on it straight. I get super distracted, so it kind of took me about 5 hours to do this one blanket. But that's like taking time to like go talk to people, eat a snack, wander around aimlessly. So I did mention earlier that I 100% thought this was supposed to be a glow-in-the-dark blanket. I guess it's just the coloring made me think of that when I saw it in the store, and I would have sworn that I thought the packaging also said that it was glow-in-the-dark. But after spending about a half an hour of going from light to darkness and light to darkness, and absolutely no change in this blanket and no illuminance coming off of it at all, I went back to the packaging to double check, and nowhere on the packaging does it mention glow-in-the-dark on the back or the front. I completely decided myself that it was supposed to be glow-in-the-dark, and I guess you can't just deem everything glow-in-the-dark that's not, because it still isn't. But nonetheless, I really like it. I did have the thought, I haven't tried it out yet, I ordered some glow-in-the-dark paint for screen printing, and I'm kind of contemplating at least painting it in on the creeping around to be glow-in-the-dark. Obviously not this entire section that I thought was, just because I don't want it to get rough, because I feel like if you paint this, it'll be rough, and I want it to stay nice and soft. And if something is going to be a rougher texture, I feel like creeping around is probably the best for that. Well, thanks for checking out this project with me, everyone. I enjoyed having you here with me. And remember to check back in with me tomorrow for Handcraft Handsewn Hump Day, where we will have a new handcraft. Again, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Hi. I'm in the middle of filming. Give me like 2 minutes. I just needed to look at these directions real quick.
Okay.
We'll just take a Jason pause.